Great. All right. So welcome back. Congratulations on making it to our last session of phase one for the AI Research School. Everyone has been attending. So you must have learned a lot. Congratulations again. So today we have just me and Farhan and Sebastian is going to talk to you guys a little bit about how the wrapping up of the first session is going to go, first phase is going to go, and then phase two of the research phase. And so first of all, we'll just do a little bit of a summary of what we have done in the first phase. Allow me to share my screen. Here's the YouTube channel that we have as well. So starting from February 25th, we had our the opening ceremony, and then we went through the basic machine learning methods up to applications in regression classification. And then every Wednesday, we had a career talk invited industry speakers. And then we started going into computer vision tasks, going from the plain RGB visual data application. And then we had a wonderful session of deep learning fundamental concepts, followed by the introduction of convolutional neural networks, and then followed by transfer learning, which is also a very important session. And then yesterday was the last workshop session on semantic segmentation, which is very comprehensive, that glued everything that we have learned previously together, including a lot of the concepts that we saw in deep learning fundamentals and transfer learning. And we were introduced to the U-Net architecture on X-ray chess images for the first time. So that was wonderful. And you have been getting emails from reminders every time, learning that we have our YouTube channel where all of the sessions were recorded and they were uploaded into the YouTube channel. So we've also been getting a lot of questions regarding the quizzes, there's also the YouTube channel for you to make up the unattended sessions, which later on Farhan and Sebastian will talk to you a little bit about more. Yeah, so that's it. And Sebastian, would you like to tell us more about the quizzes?
Yeah, sure. So first, congratulations again to all the participants who attended all the AI Research School. Thank you for your participations. And we also want to thank our instructors for every session, the career talk and all the workshops, because their time is valuable. So first, thank you to all of them. And then, so as Eugene said, we have been sending the list of quizzes to participants for them to make up for their attendance if they missed some sessions. So as a reminder, you need to have attended at least 70% of all the sessions to get the certificate for phase one. And so, as you probably noticed, the quiz for yesterday's session has not been set yet. So it's going to be sent today through a general email via Eventbrite. So for those who could not attend yesterday's session, you're going to receive the quiz link today. So the deadline stayed the same for all the workshops. If you want to make up for your attendance, you need to complete all the quizzes by Monday. So next Monday at noon, okay? So if you complete later than that, the quizzes, they will not count, unfortunately. So please do it before. Then at the beginning of the AI Research School, you had a survey to complete by Google. Then they just sent us like this new survey, which is a post-completion one. So this is not the same one, but we will ask you to complete it, please. So I'm actually sending right now the link on the chat for those who want to do it today. It's really just a 5-minute survey, so you can complete this really fast. So please do it. And so that's all for the quizzes. Now, Dr. Maliki is going to talk to you a bit more about phase two.
Thank you, Sebastian. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all of you for your persistence, being able to participate. I know that this is the time of the year that you are working on different project deliverable assignments, and that's impressive. In general, people who work hard, that's the first rule. Those people are, somehow you will succeed in your future career without even knowing it. Working hard somehow guarantee your success, and I am happy to have you here for this session and for this program. For this program, we actually we were able to deliver this program by generous supports of Google Research, also generous supports and contribution from our volunteers or mentors or academic advisors. Those are extremely valuable. We had speakers. Let me actually list some of them. Hopefully I don't miss anyone. We had Dr. Najib Khan, we have Saman Rahbar, Dr. Zahra Azizi, Dr. Bardia Khosravi, Dr. Parsa Bagherzadeh, Dr. Sakit Joshi, Dr. Neil Wu, and Matthew Abel. We had a great team also, or members, the team that actually help us to make it, including our executive committee. More specific is Sebastian and Eugene. Their help with running this phase has been really, really valuable to us. And I'd like to thank you all for your contribution. We are actually starting soon the next phase of the program. So first phase, we are wrapping up the first phase. For the next phase, you have a different experience in a way that you actually can team up with some of your friends, some of your from the members in the first phase who are interested to participate in the second phase, and work on a mini project. The reason that I call it mini project is that maybe for this project, the data collection has been done and you are just focusing on model building. So data collection sometimes takes months, years, even. But the steps that you actually take is helping you to gain a lot of experience and be a valuable resource for you to be able to succeed in research project down the road if you are involved. It will be able to help you to build a portfolio when you apply for a job. This job could be applications that's next year you fill out for, let's say, internship through NSERC program or PURE program at UOPC, or other internship in general, industry internship. So those are extremely valuable. Of course, this portfolio that you build will help you to, when you apply for jobs or grad studies, it's actually a good sign that you have been successful, you have been passionate about research, and that's a big plus when I go through application and select them for different scholarship or awards. For the second phase, we have, as I mentioned, we have groups of students. We want to encourage a student to build groups of 5 people at most. We don't want groups that be too large, because when a research group is too large and focused on one project, it might be difficult for you to actually get a good glimpse and good experience at, going through different steps of project. For each group, you will be assigned a mentor and academic advisor as well. And though your mentor and academic advisor will help you through the project, you can come up with your own ideas for project, and we do our best to support you for that, those kind of project that you might define. The only things that we are looking for those project that you define is that this scope of it is achievable in 1 month, at least partially. And the second is that the data is available. So if you want to collect data and that data collection takes, let's say, 3-4 weeks, it might not be a good project. But beside that, we try to accommodate deep learning project that's or ideas you might have. For those who might not have a project in mind, or let's say some teammates in mind to work for the second phase, for them, we try to, we actually suggest a list of projects, and you can, enter your interest based on rank from 1 to the number of projects, of course, and we try to assign a student to different projects. So that's how we approach it. For, of course, only people who have been able to complete the first phase will be considered for the second phase. That's something, if you are interested in participation in the second phase, and perhaps you have not meet that threshold of, I think it was 70% of the workshop and sessions, participation at them, please make sure to go through those forms that's sent out last week, and also the one that will be sent out for the previous session on Saturday, and make up for, by answering those questionnaires, make up for that a step. I think that's all I can add at this point for the second phase. We will have a Q&A session, and I would be happy to go and answer your question for the second phase as well. Back to you, Eugene.
Thank you very much, Farhad. Just to reiterate that the deadline for all the quizzes is on the next Monday, which is tomorrow. So after that, we'll try our best to accommodate all the certificates. Speaking of gathering and certificates for our students at the University of Calgary, this coming Wednesday, which is March 29th at 3:30 to 5:30 your time. What's it called? The MSD?
Yeah.
MDT.
So to MDT. Most mountain.
Calgary time zone, 3:30 to 5:30. There's going to be a social event at the ICT building, 516 and 508, where you'll have an opportunity to meet each other and sort of talk about what you have learned. And if you have reached the bar for the certificates and are successfully going into the second phase, you can also talk about your own ideas for phase 2 and so on and so forth. So this is pretty much what we have to tell you guys regarding the logistics, and now we're open for questions. Now is the Q&A session, and we have a panel discussion sort of a thing. Feel free to unmute or type your questions. I see Farzan has a question already. I missed all the quizzes due to the internet restriction in Iran. I tried many VPN on that, but nothing works. So is there any way to have access to the quizzes? Is my answer.
Yes, we can definitely send you an email with the questions and the link to the videos so that you can answer them, Farzan.
Yeah.
We'll maybe, call you directly.
Yeah, and thank you, Farzan, for your great participation for every session. You asked a lot of questions. That was wonderful. So we definitely will accommodate you on the quizzes. Yes, Ivan is this upcoming Wednesday. If you have class during the meetup and can't make it, is that okay? That's okay.
So yeah, the event is I think it's 3:30 to 5:30. So if you can't join parts of it, feel free to join the rest. It's the casual. It's not a formal meeting. It's actually look at it as a social events when you can meet your peers and talk about perhaps other things related to your the AI research school. But beside that, we have some specific activities, including offering the certificate for those who have been able to complete the program, the first phase. However, there might be a student who are not able to attend. We try to accommodate them, and perhaps they can get their certificate down the road.
I just want to highlight that this social event is really not only for people who are interested in phase 2. This is really like a social event for all of you to connect, and because you probably have same interest if you are here following the AI Research School. So this is really, you're all welcome to drop in. So that's the one thing. And then the question that was asked by Farzan, if any of you have any similar questions, please feel free to reach out to your coordinators, the one that sent you an email with the quizzes you need to take. If you have any question like this, please feel free to reach out to us. And also, we're gonna come up with the certificate and stuff by Tuesday or Wednesday, and we will email the participants selected for phase 2 to know if they are really interested to participate, and also if they have a team in mind and a project in mind, if they have like a small proposal they want to introduce. So yeah, I just wanted to add that. We have another question by Andrew. Will we be presenting our projects to the group at the end?
Yes, so what we are planning to offer a student is opportunity to present their work, and also not only presenting those works. We are not, we haven't set the date for presentation, but it might be a joint presentation with another program. So it will be a poster presentation at the end, and we will have an award specific to this phase. So I think the plan that was confirmed was depends on the number of the participants and number of posters presented. We have up to $1,000 award for that poster presentation. It will be sometimes in summer or early fall. That's the schedule for final presentation, but that's the poster presentation. We have a specific presentation for this program. It might be a hybrid, but that would be perhaps during the summer.
What if I don't have a team, or any team or project in mind? Ashika, that's totally okay. What we propose regarding come up with your own ideas, which is sort of one of the many options that we are giving the students. So if you are selected into phase 2 and don't have your own ideas, don't worry. We have some ideas ourselves that we can propose it to you, as well as ideas from our academic advisors that will be proposed to you as well. So don't worry, as long as you get into the phase 2 first. When do we find out if we were selected for phase 2? Yeah, so the phase 2 criteria is related to the attendance, right? So if you pass the attendance, you know that you will be selected. So if you calculate yourself that you haven't passed the percentage to get to the certificate stage, you can watch the recording and then complete the quizzes, and then you know that you will be selected in the phase 2. So by next, yeah, sorry, go ahead, Farhad. I see you nodding.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that's the case. We try to accommodate as many students as possible, but the requirement is to finish the actually meet the requirement for the first phase. If you actually successfully finish this phase, you have a chance. You will be invited if you are interested, because there might be a student not interested in second phase. So those who are interested, we try to accommodate as many students as possible. That's something. There was another question regarding how many hours. Actually, that's a little bit different. How many hours you are required to work on a project depends on your teammates. Of course, if you have a team that everyone is really participating and contributing, that would be. This means that you might be able to divide different tasks and make the whole project very easy. The time commitment might be less for those teams when everyone contributes. If not, if, for example, if you are a someone with a solo project, I expect something around 4 hours per week should be the minimum.
Yeah, and I just want to add that this phase 2 is a really intrinsically motivating part. You need to remember that you're in a team and you're not only doing this yourself. So you need to be very self-motivated to get this part forward, and it's in a month, and I believe that you are very motivated to get through the research phase. So this is why we propose the first phase criteria for a certain percentage in the first place. So a certain amount of work needs to be put in. So we have another question. Since the poster presentation will be late summer or early fall, will there be any component during July? I will be out of town during then, and reliable access to non-reliable access to Wi-Fi during that time. Is there a deadline?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So as I mentioned, we have the poster presentation is different, and as I mentioned, it might be a joint plan. However, for that poster presentation, you will be considered for the award specific to participants of the program, as well as general award for the whole presentation. So that's something different we will have during after the school. We have as I mentioned, it would be hybrid because we understand that some student might not be able to attend. It will be hybrid presentation. That's two reasons for that. It's actually one to show your work with your teammate, what you have done to everyone in the program, as well as actually we have some as earlier I mentioned, some scholarship for summer internship that you for only a student who or the a student or team that have done well, they will be nominated for that scholarship. Of course, they have a application for that one, and you will be interviewed by a committee, independent committee, perhaps a group from industry as well as academia. So that's we have a few scholarship offered through that program, and a student who want to actually showcase their strengths and increase their chance, they should do well in the presentation and the project. So that's something to have in mind. So we have two presentations. The poster presentation is separate, but the other version is hybrid. So some student might, it might not be able to join in person, but they will have a chance to present their work online.
Thank you.
And also, I just want to add that this project thing is also a very good opportunity for you to have advices from more experienced students or professional, and that's a really good thing, because that's how you make progress faster with the help of someone who already has experience. And also it's a first experience like running projects in AI as well. But yeah, so we know you have your exam, but if you truly are interested, please do participate and take the opportunity to make the most out of this.
Yeah, and just I totally agree. And then if this is your first research experience, this is a very I think very invaluable experience. I remember back when I was an undergrad, it was this kind of experience don't come along very easily. I have to go reach out to as many people and get many no's before I can work with somebody. So this is a very good opportunity for academic advisors to work with you on a specific small project. And don't worry if you don't have your own ideas. I remember my first hackathon that I attended, we had to come up with our own ideas in a small group, and it was not quite there looking back, but it's a very it's a stepping stone going forward. So it's a good experience.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, it's a learning opportunity. Besides Besides your project, you have opportunity to learn from others in the program, including your peers, as well as the mentors and academic advisors, and ask, for example, you want to learn about grad studies. So that's a perfect place to have a specific perhaps session with your advisors. I'm interested in following a grad study in this area. How how you can how I can improve my chance, for example. How you might actually ask for, if you are already preparing your application, you might ask for feedback on, this is my template email that I am using. Is it something, am I missing something? This is the CV that I have, I am planning to use. Is there anything that you wanna suggest regarding feedback? So those are perfect opportunities to do, to ask and get engaged with the research team. Plus, when you apply for this position, when you apply for a scholarship or during your undergrad years or grad years, you can highlight your research experience and your interest, and use this opportunity and this project as a sign that supports your interest. Usually for any scholarship, everyone says, I'm interested in this area. But if you show this interest through your, involvement with research group, involvement with teams, that's something valuable. So everyone say, I am a team player, but if I look at the CV and I don't see a team project, it means that perhaps not a strong team player. At least I get that sign based on the CV. But when I see successful collaboration and working with a team, I don't need to even, look for other signs. That perfect sign that this person, this student is actually good at teamwork and good at collaboration with others. That's valuable for academia, that's valuable for industry. So in general, that's a signal that contributes to your future career. The other things that someone asked, is there any other programs during the summer? So one thing that we want to actually accomplish here is to provide a community for you, for a student here at U of C, through different programs. And we want this initiative to be actually led by a student. It's a great leadership opportunity for those of you who want to actually contribute to building that community. We are supporting building an AI research club, which would be different from the data science club. And perhaps you might collaborate with them on different initiatives or joint initiative. That's something to clarify. For this one, we help, for the club, we help students with different program, inviting speakers and supporting them through supporting their programs financially for different initiatives. So that's what I really want the discussion. Perhaps you can start that discussion in the Discord channel, and more specifically this Wednesday in the social event is discussion regarding how you want to build that community, a community that provides support for you. We can help you in any capacity we can regarding bringing talent, speakers, programs, designing workshops, stuff like that for you, as well as financial things for supporting your event. That's what we can do, but this club is owned by a student. This is something that can be run only if you are interested, only if you want to build that community. We support you through this process. And hopefully through that, we'll have continuous opportunity through the year. One thing that sometimes we get is a lot of requests from talent for AI. Through this program, hopefully we'll be able to create that, let's say, gateway that's people, researcher or other groups who are interested in hiring interns or part-time researcher with AI experience and ability to actually have a point of contact. So in that case, if someone asks me for a person capable of working with, let's say, this kind of imaging data, I can have a point of contact, reach out to the club. This is an opportunity. Please share it with the member, and anyone interested can apply. The other things hopefully we'll be able to achieve is to prepare a student for some internship applications. We have many internship applications at U of T and in NSEC level in general. However, there are many others that are industry internships. Unfortunately, most of our students miss these opportunities, and they are interested in doing internship, but they miss this opportunity or they are not prepared for them. So one thing we hopefully will be able to achieve through this program is to prepare students to, let's say, if you want to go for a internship you are interested to apply for internship in industry, there are deadlines, there are preparation steps that we try to help this process and help you guys to be more prepared when you to meet the deadline, to actually get prepared for those interview sessions, and perhaps come up with sessions that help you to increase and improve your CV, improve your actually presentation skills when you approach to that interview sessions.
We have another question in the chat by Jacob. Most of what we covered in the course was using natural images. Do you think it is feasible to do a research project using LiDAR data, be it point clouds or raw sensor data?
So if you have a skill in that area, absolutely, why not? If you have the data available, yes, absolutely, you can do that. If you don't have the data and you don't know how to work with those data, I think that's a little bit tricky. It's consider that you have 1 month. So our mentors support you. The nice thing also we covered just natural images. The skill learned are very, at least for a deep learning model, very adjustable across different data modality. We use the same model that we use for classifying natural images can be used for classifying X-rays, can be used for classifying CT images, MRI images, microscopy images, satellite images. So those are very, the technique we learned are very easily transferable, and the skills are very transferable. However, it's important to have the data and also know the data. As if you remember from the session yesterday, if you know your data is the outcome and the output of your model, because of this knowledge of the data and the the domain knowledge is very valuable for data pre-processing and data cleaning. If you have that, yes, you can do such a project. Again, consider your time limits as well.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you very much, Farhad. I also just wanted to add that on the same line, if you have your own idea that you want to do on a certain project, you want to get opinions of your mentors and academic advisors, you can also write it down, like formally write it down, a problem statement, a research statement. What's your hypothesis, and where's your what is the data that you want to work on? So if it's their own idea, treat it like a mini research project of your own. Just formally write it down, and we can assess it together, and like that, and we'll let you know more about your assigned academic advisor in the future too.
Yes, absolutely. Make sure to have perhaps a one-page summary of the research is a good thing to start with. And anything that's Eugene suggested, you need to have those information. Plus, make sure to indicate 2 other things. How many sample you have for model training. For example, if you have, let's say, just 5 sample, perhaps not a good idea. And another thing to have in mind is that do you have access to that data? Because some data requires permission, and that permission might take months. So we don't want those you be waiting for your access to your data for the whole program. That's not helpful. Those two things also should be included.
Yeah, public data do exist at a lot of places. So we need to, given the time constraint, we need to sort of accommodate that this is a project of your interest, as well as the feasibility of getting that data to complete your project. Farzan has a follow-up question. For some project in my mind, I have a problem to access the data. Yeah. I don't think you finished writing the sentence. He said, "Can we?" And then it ended the question. Oh, should be on public data. I mean, it doesn't have to be on public data if you have your own data on something, as long as you have permission to use it. You know. What do you guys think, Farhad and Sebastian?
So data collection is time consuming, but fun as well. So if you have a project in mind that you can collect the data for it, once again, consider your time and your availability for data collection for you and your team. If that's feasible for you, you can actually, there is no issue with that. I was working with a student. They were farmers. Their family were they were farmers, and they collected. He actually collected imaging data from their own farm, and used that for a AI in agriculture project. So that's completely accessible. You might, it's a good idea if you have time, if you can do that, and you know that a specific domain when you are passionate about it, approach it for data collection and annotation. There's no limitation from our side. We actually encourage a student who want to do those kind of projects, but once again, usually that takes time. Be careful with that and try to have managing your time is very important. Go with something that you are sure that you can achieve for data collection.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'm gonna ask a question. Will we need ethics approval before we start a project if we use medical data? That's a very good question. Usually there's a lot of legal issues and ethical issues with medical data, and data sharing, transferring is a big issue in medical imaging. But I share with you guys some links for medical imaging data that are already public, which means that people that donated or not donated, people that put these data in public have already obtained the approval for others to use them publicly. So that's good. You want to find sources that are like this. So would web scraped data be considered as a bad source since we're not asking sites, we're scraping for permission? I don't think so, right?
So there are a couple of things to have in mind. One is the, are we allowed to use that data? That's one thing. The second thing is that web scrape data are of low quality and requires a lot of time for cleaning. So those are two main challenges you need to. The chance is that for what you have in mind, there is public data set available. So for many tasks, there are public data set available, and you might be able to use them instead of web scraping and cleaning the data.
Yeah, I personally, I would probably go with existing public data because you only have 1 month and you probably don't want to spend 2 weeks on cleaning the data. If like public data that's already out there, you can download it and clean it. You can clean it with to some less degrees than if you go from the get-go and scrape it from the web. I remember my first hackathon that we scraped data from, like our project was to do a computer vision task to recognize construction signs, and then we scraped the web and then downloaded a bunch of the construction signs from Montreal, and that was fun but time consuming, so we have to, sometimes other people already build the stuff for you, then you can just use it and then use it for your own purpose. And Anna asked, will we be writing a paper? I think writing a paper is not expected, but if results come along, that could be a next step, I think.
Yes, absolutely. That's something we support you through the program. If say a student who have been able to do some research, get some results, and the result is satisfactory, we support you with that step as well. You have an academic advisor, a mentor, as well as a team that supports you for that step. And definitely that's something we want to see, at least for some groups, to put their project out as a paper, hopefully to go to a conference, hopefully to go to a or submit to a journal paper. It doesn't need to be a fancy journal. This is, for many of you, it might be your first publication. So we encourage you actually to present your work in local presentation events, local conferences, national conferences, and if works are good, we might be able to actually support some of you guys to go to international conferences.
Yeah, and I think there's not quite much limit to what you can eventually achieve. And if you maintain your relationship with your academic advisor, you can always continue being in touch with them in the future. And Brody has a question. What would be a good example of a research project that would be of reasonable scope?
As it was discussed, we share a few examples with you early next week, and you can actually use those as a template for, okay, it is a scope that I can do it. So if your data is, usually if your data is public, available, that those are and also manageable. So if you have two things that actually challenge. One, when you have a small number of samples, let's say if you have just 100 samples, perhaps not a good idea. If you have a 12 million sample, also not a good idea, because it might be too challenging for you to work with those. Something around, let's say, if you have a data set of at least 10 to, depends on the task, of course. For general tasks, you might need to have more. For example, if you want to do image classification for general images, with let's say 1,000 class, you might need to have 1 million samples. And there are data sets with 1 million or more than 1 million sample that you can use. If you have a task that, let's say, you want to predict two different objects from each other, that's, of course, the task is simpler. And if these two objects are very distinct and very separate, dissimilar, not similar actually, you might be able to achieve it with smaller sample sizes. So that's something to have in mind. I think that would be a good scope. Usually we saw a good, very good, you have a good, actually a starting code or notebook for any classification task, any segmentation task. Those projects, of course, since we covered them, it will be easier for you. If you work with, let's say, graph neural network, since we didn't cover those, it will be more work. So methodology-wise, also is important to consider things that you have got training and let's say notebook that perhaps can be used, also help you to decrease the workload for the second phase.
Yeah.
So I just want to add something because I see that more students are joining up right now. So I just want to highlight the fact that I don't mean to kill the mood, but if somehow you only attended like for 5 minutes previous sessions, these unfortunately will not count as if you have attended the whole session. So we have a threshold of time. You need to attend one session to have completed it. It's 60 minutes. So if you just connected for 2 minutes, unfortunately, it will not count. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's understandable. So the sessions are at least 1 hour. Yeah. So if you stayed at less than 1 hour, so that's It might happen sometimes. Of course, you lose internet, so this might happen. And because of that, actually, we have the options of quizzes. In general, if you have attended 70% of the sessions or more, you should be okay.
Yep.
Is something else, Joshua? I don't mean to directly talk to you, but I sent you a text on the Zoom chat if you want to answer, or you can answer by email, and that's all. So I think we don't have any more questions for now. If you do have more questions, please reach out to your coordinators. They sent you an email, so you should know who they are. So I think we can wrap it up here. Is there anything else, Dr. Maliki or Eugene?
No, and thank you guys so much for attending. It's a pleasure to
Yeah, Dr. Maliki, go ahead.
Yeah,
I have
yeah. I want to conclude perhaps with this, that we didn't, the first phase was finished, perhaps officially today, and the second phase perhaps in a month. But one thing that we hasn't finished and won't be finished, the support that we are going to provide for students at U of C. So we try to build different initiatives, different programs, and help you to succeed and have a better experience during your undergrad studies. Of course, at the end of the day, you know, you play a very, very important role in this part, but the program, the mentorship, the support haven't been, won't be finished. You will be perhaps invited next year for similar programs. As perhaps some of you will be mentor for the future programs. Some of you will be sharing or being executive members for the next year program. That's something I want to mention. The program might finish today, the first phase, or you know, in a month for the second phase, but we try to keep the support for your students continuous.
And I also have one last thing. So thank you very much all for your participation. Thank you very much for all our instructors. And we will be sending out a couple of forms in the next days. So if you could please take a bit of your time to fill them out, it will help us improve this summer school for next year. And yeah, so please to complete.
Yeah, Sebastian, were you able to send out the post?
Yeah, I did. I'm going to put the link on the chat again, and it will also be included in the Eventbrite email we are sending today. But here it is. Oh, it's on the chat. So if you can complete it today, it's really only a few minutes. So please.
Yes, that would be great. That help us to get feedback. Also, that's help our colleague at Google to have a better understanding in the program, and hopefully they will be interested in continuing supporting U of C for different initiatives. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. And Sebastian and I won't be able to see you guys in person, but if you come to Montreal anytime, we'll be able to say hi. Well, have fun on Wednesday at the social event for sure. Yeah, hope to see you at the next phase, I guess. Bye-bye.
Yeah, have a great day. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.